Hello amazing people, my name is Tazmyn and welcome to another video. Earlier this week I went shopping with my mom and I recorded some footage that was originally going into a vlog, but I decided to ditch that entire vlog because it wasn't up to the standards that I want to hold on this channel. And I realized that I also wanted to talk more about the reason around shopping, and it may sound silly, but hear me out. So basically earlier this week I went with my mom to the town that I went to school to say goodbye to a routine. And that may sound silly, but I'm autistic and routines are very important to me. They are basically a ground layer of how I function on a day-to-day basis. With the corona crisis, all of my routines, not just the school one, but all ones, just vanished at once, and it really messed me up. Even though I've graduated now, I have so much trouble finding back a routine. I've been sleeping very badly. I have not been productive every day or most days or like any day, and there is still a lot that I have to do. But I realized that I had so many things that were bothering me, and one of them was that I had to say goodbye to a certain routine, and that was going to and from school. So what did my mom and I do? We went to the town that I went to school. We parked our car at the train station where I usually would get off my train, and then we walked all the way to my school, did some shopping in the city center because my school was in the city center, and then completed the route completely to the door of my school, and then went back home. It's very silly. It's something so simple and most people won't do that, but it bothered me because when I stop doing something, I want to do it one last time with the intention in my head that it's the last time that I'm doing it, just to have a proper closure. It's very weird but I have to do that. I have to do it one last time. And the last day of school, there was a press conference about if they were going to close the schools or not, and at that day they were not saying that they had any intention of closing the school anytime soon because there wasn't any reason to. And only a few days later they decided to close everything: schools, hotels, bars, everything. So I went home, and the only one last time I had in my head was that it was the last real classes I had. I was supposed to have a test a week after, but that didn't do anything for my routine because I would have gone to school for weeks more after that if school stayed open and there wasn't a pandemic. And yeah. But I realized that even though everything changed, I could do things safely from home, I needed that routine. That walking from the train to school and back, and like everything else I did before going into the train, etc., it has become a part of the day for me, and suddenly it was gone. I don't expect neurotypical people to understand what I'm feeling, but I want to share it because it's very important for me. And I want to share it to give a little more insight about autism. Autism is often overlooked and often reduced to the stereotypes and assumptions and all those kinds of things. But like, these are small things, and I had a hard time admitting this to myself, that I was missing a routine to a certain degree that was literally giving me panic attacks. And I want to talk about it to others because there may be others that are feeling similar things but can't put quite a finger on it, or don't know how to describe it, or don't think it's reasonable enough to actually acknowledge. I am glad that I did this. I'm glad that I went back one last time with my mom and walked that route one last time. It's not gonna be the last time I'm going to that town because I really like the city center. I like the specific route that I always took. It was part of my day for years, and just not doing it anymore just didn't sit well with me. And it was also kind of nice because I usually walked that route alone, and this time around I could show my mom everything I always noticed on every day. Like a bush with a lot of birds in it, or that they were always busy with fixing the fronts of some houses, or that one cat who was always sitting in front of the door waiting to be let inside but never really scratching or meowing, or that one cat that was always lying in the same window at the same time every day. A wonderful, beautiful cat. These are small things that made me happy, and the consistency of them really made my day more durable. Going back with the intention that it was going to be the last time, like going back to do it again one last time, it was very important to me. But this isn't the only thing I wanted to talk about. I also wanted to tell about the day I had. So what did my mom and I do? We went to the town, we parked our car, we walked the route to the city center, but not all the way to my school just yet. I think we went to 3 bookstores, of which only 2 had English and YA books. One was a very, like, a discount bookstore, but I live in the Netherlands, so it's mostly Dutch books anyway. So one of the bookstores I went to was the Bruna. The Bruna is a Dutch bookstore chain, but the size varies very much because we have a Bruna in our own city center, but it's very, very small. It doesn't even have young adult books, but it's like mostly magazines and some craft stuff and gift stuff. But this Bruna, it was huge. It had one entire wall with books, and I think there were 3 shelf sets, like 3 rows of shelves, all with books that I knew, and it made me very happy. The second bookstore we went to was the discount bookstore, but it only had Dutch books really, and nothing I was interested in particularly. It was a lot of thriller and horror books. I think they print way too many of those and eventually end up with overstocks because I always see similar books there, and like a lot. I don't know why, but it's also funny for me to see. Like maybe one day I'm gonna get some books from there if I'm low on my TBR or just want to read something completely different. Those are translated books though, and I'm not really a fan of translations, but like they're very, very cheap. Stores, I got 2 books of my own, and my mom also bought a book that I was eyeing, and apparently she had it in her hands like a couple of minutes before I picked it up, and she said, well, I'm gonna buy it because I'm also interested in it, and it was like 20 euros because Dutch books are overpriced for some reason. But it's a book about autism, so she's also interested because she works with autistic people. So this is the book about autism, and the title translates to "But you don't even look autistic," showing how autism is a hidden disability and that you don't look a certain way if you're autistic, or you don't act a certain way. There are so many traits and no one is the same. I believe this was written by someone of like around my age, so I get a more modern view of autism from someone who is also autistic. Most books about autistic people are either written by someone who isn't autistic themselves or about kids. But I'm 20. I wasn't even diagnosed until I was 14, so I can relate to the 8-year-old boy. I can relate to the boy experience anyway because I am a girl. I also heard very good things about this, and I trust Blossom Books with everything they publish because it's all so very good. It's also a very quick read, so I can wait for it to dive into this. Onto the books I got for myself. I got some money from my family for graduating, so I decided to treat myself. Even though I'm on the book buying ban, it just made me very happy to be in a bookstore, and a bookstore that was actually selling books that I knew. Like not even per se interested in, but like books I knew. Even if I walk into a bookstore and the only books that I know are books I already own, or book 2 in a series that I don't started yet, or books that I've already read. I don't care, it just makes me happy that I know those books and those are right there. Creates more of a connection with the bookish world that I have. Sometimes I feel really disconnected, and seeing those books in physical stores here in the Netherlands makes it feel more real for me. Maybe that's also an autism thingy, I don't know. But the first book is Havenfall. Havenfall by Sarah Holland. I really love Sarah Holland because her first duology was very, very good. And just the fact that she wrote another book, I didn't really care about what it was also already enough for me to keep an eye out. And this book sounds absolutely fantastic, and look at how pretty the cover is. It's also a very thin book, like relatively to what I usually read. I think it has, yeah, it has a little over 300 pages. So if I just sit down, I could cut through this in 2 days. And it's a nice addition to my Sarah Holland collection, because I own 2 hardbacks of her debut series, and they're so pretty, and this is so pretty as well. And the cover of book 2 was revealed, and I'm putting this here. It looks so good together with this. The second book I got is The 10,000 Doors of January. Alex E. Harrow has another book out this year. It's Once a Future Witches, if I am correct. And it sounds really good. And I heard so many good things about this book as well. So I decided to get it. This is a book about books, and I really like book about books. I also had The Binding in my hands, which is also a book about books. And I almost got that one and this one together, but I'm glad I found Havenfall because otherwise I would have gotten 2 books about books. And that might be a bit much, if you get what I mean. But I heard so many good things and I'm very excited to dive into this very, very soon. I had The Hideous Beauty in my hands. And it looked so pretty, and I already had it on my TBR, but when I cleaned my TBR, I took it off on my Goodreads shelf. And then I found it back in the store, and I thought, well, let's get it, and then I read the back. And it was completely nothing like I remembered ever reading about the book. And it looked like a bit of a Riverdale ripoff. But when I got home, like literally when I got home, someone was posting book recommendations and the descriptions in her stories. And what do you know? Hideous Beauty was on there as well, and it sounded like 1,000 times more interesting. So I'm a little bit sad I didn't get that one, but I'm more happy with the books that I got, so I don't really care. I also saw Loveless in the Wild, and well, I'm glad that I bought it online because I got a gift card from my boyfriend's parents, but it would also would have been cool to get it in an actual bookstore. And just seeing it on the shelf so close after the release even. This also making me very happy because I am an asexual person, and this book is about asexuality in aromanticism and feeling broken. Well, it's actually quite okay to feel like that. I really needed this book, and just seeing it in the wild really cheered me up. Then we went to a clothing store and I got a really pretty shirt. This is the shirt, and it's very, very oversized, and it's very thin as well, like you can see through it, but I look so good in it. I found a new obsession, and it's like plants, but I'd like actual plants. Like I already have a ton of those, maybe incorporate those in videos more, but like prints, and behind me are the trees, and I feel so confident and comfortable in green. And I never thought that I would like green because it was actually a color that I disliked for a bit, but I'm getting more open to brighter colors since a while, and my favorite color has changed from purple to like a minty kind of green. I got this phone, I'm filming on it so I can show you, but like it's also kind of green color and it looks really pretty, and everyone looked like I was completely stupid when I said that I wanted a green phone, but I like it and it's different. After that, we went to sit down and have a drink at a local cafe because we were really tired. We needed a toilet. It was all very well done with COVID, and we could just sit in the sun for a bit with a fresh drink. I had a chocolate muffin with some powdered sugar and chocolate syrup and vanilla ice, and it was so good. The muffin was still a little bit warm, and the ice was like just out of the freezer and so tasty. And my mom had some apple pie, and it was like just a little thing. I'm not really someone who likes to sit at the cafe or like outside with outside tables, but I really enjoyed this, and the weather was also very, very nice. The last thing we did before walking back to the car is going to Holland Barrett. My mom and I really love that store because there's a lot of organic and nature, like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a really nice store with really nice products. And I especially love that store because they sell loads of sorts of loose tea. I love tea, and tea is like, if I had to choose what kind of beverage I would be drinking the rest of my life, nothing else, it would just be tea. And even if it would be just one type of tea, I would be happy. We ran out of like loose tea long ago. We originally intended to go tea shopping for Mother's Day, but then I got sick, and that like it took me 3 weeks to recover. Don't worry, it wasn't COVID, it was something completely different. But we finally went tea shopping, and I got like 5 different sorts, and we also came at the right time because everything was discounted. Like everything from their own brand was discounted. The second product was only €1, and with all those tea, like between the two trade, sometimes even more euros, and getting like 6 or 8 bags of it just adds up very quickly. So every second was only €1, so we could just dig in. First one is women power. I don't know if this is gonna focus. I really like it because it has all kinds of herbs in it that are giving you like a spring summer vibe, and it's really fresh and herby. And so far everyone who's come here and tried it liked it. So we got 2 bags of this because my mom also drinks this, and I'm usually the only one that drinks tea, and then some guests every now and then. So this one's always gone the first, but I highly recommend it. It's like a green herbal tea and it's called Women Power, and the brand is the Tazmyn. I don't know if they sell this kind of tea in like other countries with Holland Barrett. And then we got this tea. This is a white pomegranate magnolia tea. I always like darker tea, but right now I want something light because I drink a lot of tea, and eventually if you drink darker teas you get so full after time. Not like full as in like actual volume, but like I had enough and I just really like tea. So I'm trying out lighter teas, and this is like a white one. It does look very dark, so I wouldn't have thought that this is a white tea. And then we have another white tea, and it's the white jasmine Maofeng tea. I really want to pronounce this correctly, so please correct me in the comments. It's spelled like Maofeng, M-A-O-F-E-N-G. And then the last one, this is like a complete tryout. It's a relaxing herbal melange, and it has beech and all kinds of herbs that are supposed to be very relaxing. It looks very pretty. It has all kinds of blue leaves and orange in it, and on this side you see more of the orange, and I think those are dried peaches. So this is gonna be tryout, and I will get back to you when I know more. Last thing we got is a bamboo mask. I have asthma, so I have troubles breathing. We had some fabric masks that we ordered, but they are very hard to breathe through, and the only ones that I really were able to breathe through, like those doctor masks, like the one-use ones, and those were the only masks that I could breathe through. And this seems to like the same consistency, and this is reusable. So I'm gonna try it out, and hopefully it's as soft as it looks because I like soft, and also report back on that later. Because if this is nice, I can recommend it to people, because I know there are many others that have trouble breathing through fabric masks, and you really need to wear a mask. So I'm trying to find more resources to wear a mask comfortably. So yeah, that's what I got during my shopping with my mom, and I'm very happy that I got to make a nice day out of it. To just have a happy experience regardless of everything that happened and is still happening, and feel good about my last time. I also want to introduce you to my cat. She just decided to accompany me here in the last bit of my vlog. This is Sammy, and she's just sitting on my lap. She's very sweet. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned a lot from it, like a lot. Well, maybe not a lot, but something about autism, that autism isn't what it looks like, because autism doesn't look like anything, as this book is saying. But you don't even look autistic because you don't look autistic. I look like a human being, but how everything goes in my brain is just a little bit different, and that's okay. And that's okay to acknowledge, and it's okay to not be okay. And I realized that, and I did something about it, and I'm glad my mom is so supportive, because otherwise I wouldn't have done it. But on the bright note, I graduated high school. I'm done with school. I'm done with that routine, and it may still be a while before it's out of my system, before I can really get rid of it and try out a new routine. That's okay. I really enjoyed making this video because I could share something about myself and not like a preset tag or a very forced reading vlog, which I will be doing differently as well. I won't be doing weekly reading vlogs. Where are you going? I will be doing weekly reading vlogs. I'm going to do pointed reading vlogs. So when I am reading a series, like in one go, I'm making a reading vlog. Or when I'm reading an anticipated release, I'm making a reading vlog. Or anything else, a readathon. Just going on and reporting my day-to-day reading during a regular week. It's messy and it makes me feel guilty if I didn't read so much. But also it's a bit boring because I don't have really anything to say, because when I'm just reading I don't have a lot of thoughts. I just have a lot of feelings. I think maybe that's another autistic thingy, that even though I'm very good with words are sometimes lacking. So I have a lot of feelings, and I have an opinion, but that opinion doesn't really have words. Just talking on camera about a section that I've read without literally telling you what was in the section. That's not the content I want to make. I want to make interesting content, and I want to make vlogs when I have actually something to say or report on, or something specific. Even though it sucks that I am going to throw out some footage that I already filmed, but it's the best. It's the best choice I can make. It really made me feel more relaxed to make it. So yeah, again, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope everyone stays safe. Wear a mask, drink enough water, pet a cat or another animal, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.